Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, boys and girls and boys, fret not. Okay, fret not. I know it's been a weird 2 weeks, but the boys are back in town. All right, quit crying. We're here. We're ready to go. All right,
We're
and and
back.
and what better way to start the comeback than with the greatest host of all time, yours truly. It says it on the screen, go right there. That's me, Matt. I'll be your host tonight. We have Andrew and Steven as well. Con, what's up? Andrew, what's up? Give us the lowdown. What's good? How was your last 2 weeks gone? How's your month been? Give the update to the people. Starting with you, Mr. Idiot.
That would be me. Last 2 weeks have been very busy. Actually, 2 weeks ago, good. Last week, not so good. I was without internet from Thursday to
Yeesh.
Monday, and that was like, what do I do with myself? My kids were freaking out. My wife was freaking out. Like we just switched and we got fiber in our neighborhood, and we're like one of the first houses to get it, and I guess they just weren't quite ready. So it was really bad when it was out. Like could not do anything.
Man, that's a
Um,
bummer. That is a bummer.
but since then,
Tragic.
everything's been great.
Oh, yeah, I could say the same. Did not have internet. Wait, I can't say the same because I did have internet. Do have high speed and everything. Ours wasn't down, but I can say that my kids did go crazy. I was gone for the last. It feels like a week, but about 5 days. We were up in Vegas watching the CDL championship. So my
Mhm.
kids were freaking out, wanting me to come home as soon as possible. And then as soon as I got home, my kids took off to San Francisco. So got to see them for like a day. But after that, so far everything's been pretty good, man. Did a nice little break, coming back and refreshed, ready to go. So I'm good. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, so same kind of thing. I went out of town 3 weekends in a row.
Mm,
This last
nice.
weekend was actually a 5 day. And although it was Vegas and I went for the championship as well and it was fun, it's just like back to back to back weekends of not being home is, tedious. And then also the drive, although I didn't drive, shout out to Steven for driving the whole time. The drive is still long, whether you're driving or not. I imagine it's more long if you are driving, but yeah, so it was good. The championship tournament, man, I'm a fan of the Call of Duty esports scene, so I'm happy that I went.
Hmm.
I'm glad I went, and it was weird, but it was a very good championship. But it was weird for sure. Well, I'll get into that later when we talk about it. But gentlemen, a lot has transpired in terms of like things,
Right.
but news moves quick. So we're going to focus on things that are kind of new to us this week, last week and a half maybe. We're gonna start with something that is near and dear to my heart, and let's start with this Kraven trailer. So, if you guys don't know, the Kraven trailer came out. It's a red band trailer, which means it's pretty
2 days.
graphic usually. So it is out. I've seen it, Andrew's seen it, and Mr. Khan have seen it as well. So, gentlemen, thoughts on how it looks, and then thoughts on like Kraven specifically. We'll start with you, Steven.
I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I've when I heard Craven was getting a movie, I wasn't stoked, to be honest. I thought it was like just another B list kind of villain, maybe A, depending on the storyline. Didn't really care
Mm-hmm.
until I saw this trailer. And I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, I'm kind of in. Even if I didn't know it was, or even if I knew that it was part of the Spider-Man world, if this movie just came out called Craven, it kind of piqued my interest. It looked pretty cool,
Yeah.
action packed. It looks like a pretty good storyline. So I want to see a little bit more in depth trailer, or maybe I don't, and I just want to go in there and try to enjoy the movie without having my expectations kind of high. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks really good. That's all I pretty much have for it.
Yeah, so I think the expectation part of having it kind of high. You and I talked about that going into the Flash this last week, of like of how like I go into movies versus like how most people go into movies.
Hmm.
And then I think you and I came out of that movie thinking the same thing because that talk it wasn't like a serious talk, just like a hey, like expectations are usually pretty high with these things. Let's just go in there with like a clean slate, and we were satisfied with what we saw. And we'll get to that later on, but that's the thing with expectations for me is like I always keep them pretty low in the first place because it's like a Marvel MCU film. But yeah, Andrew, shift over to you. Let me know about the trailer, about Craven specifically. How do you feel about the whole thing?
I don't think I'm as hopeful as both of you. I think this could be another. Okay, so before I get into it, we got to address the elephant in the room. So it's yet again another stab at Sony trying to do an anti-hero story.
Mhm.
Both Venoms have not been anything to write home about.
True.
Okay. Morbius.
Morbius, I didn't even see because I heard it was so bad. So, I mean, if we're playing baseball rules, 3 strikes, you're out. But there's a lot of weird things, specifically with the trailer that kind of threw me off. One for me, just like the overall casting is kind of weird. Like I like Aaron. I think he's a great actor. I don't know if this is a role for him though. Like when I envision Kraven, I envision someone who is very robust and bulky up top, and then it kind of slims down. Kind of like that Superman figure where it's like very muscular, heavy on top, and then kind of smaller legs. He's just kind of, I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to get freaking yoked for this role. But I just don't know if his physique is what Kraven is, in my opinion. And again, I could be wrong. The other part is I think Sony is really doubling down on the blood, the gore, kind of going for an R-rated vibe, which is fine. I just feel like, I mean, I just feel like they're trying to make it the Deadpool without the comedy, but like the hype around this is the first rated R superhero movie that's been around since like Blade. Like releasing the Red Band trailer specifically, that was like a a very similar situation that you have around Deadpool. Granted, I think Deadpool was more of a movie that was purely made for the love of the character. I don't know if we're going to get that from this. So again, I'm pretty skeptical. The trailer itself, it looks pretty cool. For someone who doesn't know who Kraven is or like the backstory, it seems like it'll do a pretty decent job of that. I'm just not holding my breath because I know when it comes to live actions, Sony has dropped the ball a handful of times.
Yeah, cool. Good takes. Let me get into my bag here because I don't know where you think I got the word hopeful from out of me. I haven't said a word to you about this trailer whatsoever. Okay, let me start with what I like. Okay. I like the goriness. This is Kraven to the teeth.
Yeah, I think
Kraven
it's cool.
Should be gory. Kraven should be hunting dudes. That's about it. So my problem with this is me knowing Kraven because I just the Spider-Man villains. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man. This is not Kraven. It's not. Not a single thing about this has been Kraven in the trailer from what I've seen. Outside of him, just like the way he kills people might be like Kraven like. But the character of Kraven, his motivation, even down to how he gets his powers, it's not Kraven.
Yeah, that is true. That's weird.
Yeah. So and the thing is like it's more practical how he gets in the comic books, how he gets his powers is he takes vials pretty much every night of like super serum. That is a more viable thing and more realistic thing than a lion than lion's blood. Yeah, lion's blood like being introduced into his system. They went the complete Spider-Man route. Hey, your DNA is merged now with a predator. Okay, cool, whatever. That's one gripe. It's a big gripe for me though, but that's one gripe. The second gripe that I have with this film that I already have an issue with is his motivation isn't Kraven like. Why you do what you do? Oh, my father brings evil into the world. I take it out. That's not. And then when he
Kraven
says
is a hunter.
And then when he says that, the screen flashes like not all villains are like made overnight or whatever. Nothing about what he has said in this film about his motivation of doing things screams villain to me. If you're taking evil out of the world, it sounds like you're just like the Punisher, an anti-hero, which is not what I want from Kraven. I want you to be a villain. If he would have said, "I do it for the love of the sport," that would have been the hardest line in the movie.
Yeah.
So that's two things for me that's not Craven like. The third thing, that's a really basic thing, is Russell Crowe has an accent. That's the Craven accent, and then Aaron Taylor Johnson
doesn't.
has no accent, and that accent is like the way Russell Crowe portrayed the accent is to a T how
Yeah.
I would portray a Craven accent, and then I hear him talk, and it's just like a normal dude from the United States. I'm like, dude, so I just feel like they could have put any, like they didn't have to call it Craven, they could have called it something else. And as an action film, it looks pretty good. Like if I didn't know the backstory of Craven, didn't care too much about it, I'd be okay with it. The problem is you put the word Craven on it, and
Right.
and I'm a Spider-Man fan, and now I'm going to see Craven, but I'm seeing just a more
Craven.
vile John Wick, pretty much. Like it,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it'll be a good action film. I'll take it for what it is, like I usually do. But I just don't. I hate that it's called Craven. I hate that it's called Craven. That's what it comes down to. At least Venom was Venom. You know what I mean? Morbius was Morbius, but this one, they just like decided just to name him Craven, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm not hopeful for it being a Craven film. I think it'll be a great action film. It looks
Yeah,
like
it looks super violent. I'm on board with the super violent.
Right.
The part where he's got like the foot traps, he puts it on that guy's head, like.
Yeah. I will say the way he fights in the last 30 seconds, where he's in that hallway, the way like he's crawling through the walls and stuff, that's very Craven like. So it's like they took like the action and goriness part of Craven and then like attached it to this new character they made and calls him Craven. If that makes sense. His father being the motivating factor is good though. That's Craven. Craven's father is the reason why he is the way he is, and he ends up killing his father in the comic books. That's why he becomes Craven. He hunts the hunter and becomes the apex predator at that point in time, which is why I have a problem with him not doing that, because the whole motivation for him is to be the best hunter there ever was. Nothing else.
Do you? I have a question real quick, or a thought. First off, do you guys see Kraven from the Spider-Man animated series, or do you guys see Kraven from the comic book? Like which one? When you think of Kraven, which
hands
Kraven
down animated?
That's what I think.
That's my favorite
comic.
Kraven.
I think
the
comic.
Kraven was fire. Yeah, in the animated. The second thing I got is, do you think that Kraven? This is just me theorizing. This has no truth of anything. Do you think maybe they thought if Morbius is a success, we'll drop Kraven right behind it, thinking they would latch on Kraven to Morbius about Kraven hunting Morbius, and then since Morbius failed dramatically, like terribly, they just kind of went a different direction? You know what I mean? Do you think that could have been a thing that might have happened? Because it would have made sense of more of like the ultimate hunter hunting a bat. You know what I mean? I think that would have been interesting.
Yeah,
I think
they prepare themselves for what could come, which is, I think they're going to get 6 villains and just have them there just in case they get Spider-Man back somehow. Which, I mean, they have the rights, so they prepare themselves for like the next 6 years instead of the next year. But they're doing these weird. I mean, they own the characters, so I get it. But they're doing these weird Spider-Man spin-offs of characters that people like are somewhat familiar with, don't really care about, like Morbius, Kraven. Venom's a big one, so I'll give them that. But then they have El Muerto coming out later in like 2 years, which is the Bad Bunny film, where he's going to be another Spider-Man villain. I just have a problem with I have a problem with them setting up these villains as anti-heroes, and then Spider-Man coming in later. They'd be like, "Hey, you villains, let me," you know what I mean? Like, it's just like not. I don't know. I don't know what Sony's plan is. To your point, Steven, they could have done a complete like 180 on like, hey, we stuck to the comic books on this. It didn't work out very well. Let's make it different here. I get that from a business standpoint. I just feel like you could have made the same movie with the same budget and not put the name Kraven on it, I guess, is what like,
100%. They could have called this movie The Hunter with nothing to do with Kraven. And it would have been a standalone movie.
I think what it kind of comes down to, and I actually had this conversation with somebody at work today, where I think just Hollywood is in this weird space where everything has to be as dark and gritty as possible. Like, it's not considered good unless it's dark and gritty.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way to do it to make sense, but you have to have like the emotional tie for it to work. I just don't feel like we're potentially, and it sucks because I feel like a character like Kraven, you could have that emotional tie to it with a father who is technically the bad guy, and make the conflict between father and son, which gives that emotional tension. But I don't feel like they're really going to focus on that. I feel like they're more like, we have to tell a story about a guy who's bad, but make him be the good guy, which it's weird. But at the same time, it has to be as dark as possible. And I think that's one of Sony's like fundamental problems is they want to make a dark and gritty, the Dark Knight kind of esque vibe. And then they want to throw the comic book comedy in there, and you have these motifs of like up and down of I don't know if I should be laughing or if it was cheesy.
Yeah, or who to root for.
Right. So I think they just need to either double down on, if it's going to be wild and crazy and wacky, it can be cartoonish. Or if they want to go something dark, like make it an emotionally dark movie. Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be dad versus son the whole movie, instead of it being like a.
I feel like it's gonna be dad versus son, but it's gonna be dad's henchman versus Kraven until the end.
The way that this I mean, I think it'll be a dad versus something. They're setting it up perfectly. But the way it should have gone is, hey, I'm hunting people to hunt my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then like it shouldn't be like I want to get rid of evil out of the world. No, man.
So do you think they? So I have a couple conspiracy theories that I've been thinking. One, to Matt's point, the accent. Do you think they didn't do an accent because of Aaron's terrible accent as Pietro?
Yeah, probably.
Well, it's a little different of an accent, but
no,
he did an accent just fine in Bullet Train. I mean, it was a British accent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's 50-50. Like
no, and I'm not saying it's anything against his talent. I'm just saying it's a superhero person with an accent to another superhero with an accent. Like there's too much similarity there that they were like, let's take some creative lenience and not do an accent.
No, if they're gonna do that, then don't give the daddy accent either. It's simple.
But
they either both have the accent or they both don't.
Yeah, that's what's weird is only one has the accent.
It's so weird.
It's so stupid.
I don't know, but I don't think they thought about it like that. I don't think they put too much thought into that.
I don't think so either. I think Aaron's like, I'm not doing an accent. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
I had a really good second conspiracy, but I cannot not think of it and remember it.
All right, well, let's keep pushing then. Come back to that.
Yeah. So we'll stick on the topic of comic book things. We'll talk about the Flash briefly. And by we, I mean me and Steven. Andrew, in the same boat as Steven was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where we talked about Spider-Man. He didn't get to join the conversation. So sit there, keep your mouth shut, okay?
Mute yourself.
Thank you. So we saw the Flash.
That was good. Touche, my friend. Touche.
All right, Steven, overarching view of the Flash. Quick like review of what you thought it was and everything like that.
After sitting there and talking to you on the way back, my thought process changed. I thought it was funny. I feel like the movie was worthless. I feel like they ruined a character and not any of the characters you're probably thinking of. I think they dropped the ball dramatically on I can't remember how you say her name, Matt, the Supergirl,
Sasha Calle. Oh, Kara.
I think they dropped the ball dramatically with her. I really want them to use her in the future. I hope they do. But the screen time that she had was the highlight. It was cool seeing Batman kick some ass in Russia. But besides that, did nothing for me personally. I after thinking about it.
Yeah. So for me, I enjoyed the film.
Okay.
As a standalone Flash film, it could work just fine. The problem becomes when you start introducing things they introduce with multiverse stuff. I gave on the way up to Vegas. We were talking about watching the movie. I gave Steve a prediction I had about a certain cameo appearance, and he's like, "If that happens, I'm walking out the theater." And it happened. He just looked at me, and I was like, "I told you, man."
There was like 3 minutes left, so I just had to say it. I was like,
Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the movie itself, Ezra Miller did pretty good.
He did good.
He did good. As a not a clueless Barry, but as a Barry who panics. And then he did good as so. There's two Barrys, right? Obviously, we saw the trailer.
Mhm.
The second Barry does good at he does good portraying both
Barry!
Barrys simultaneously to each other, pretty well. The action was good when it happened. It was good. The plot points were nah, like whatever. But my silver lining here in this film is two things. One, they explained how Aquaman's going to work in the multiverse in December when it releases, which is like at least we have some kind of explanation to these things. I think James Gunn is actually putting these barriers in place. Like, hey, there needs to be rules set if we're going to do this whole universe thing. Let's set them, because that also sets the same standard for Matt Reeves' Batman, I think, as well. Which means so basically all the stuff DC is going to do now, if it's not included in the DCU, as James Gunn called it, we have a reason why now, and we have a reason why if they do show up later, why it might not be the same person or it could be. It's explained pretty well, or not explained well, but when you think about it and you dissect it in your head, it makes sense. But the big highlight for me, I talked about it with Steven already in depth. Freaking Sasha Kaya as Supergirl she's incredible.
Amazing.
I'm gonna be severely disappointed if James Gunn isn't in the phone talking to her like as we speak to get her back for her role as Kara. She wants to do it. She's already publicly said like I hope I come back. Not like if they call me I'll do it. I hope I come back. I was born for this role. And she just steals the show. Her screen time is super unwarranted in terms of the time she gets is minute. Like but it's the best 7 minutes of the entire 2-hour film. So she's good. She's great. It was really cool seeing Keaton again. I liked how they did his Batman music. Like when Ricky fought was pretty. It just made it more cool. I like how, like him and Supergirl fought together pretty well when they fought together in that one scene. But it's lackluster. It's mid. Like for James Gunn and everyone to say it's the greatest film they've ever seen since Casablanca. It's there. Yeah. I'm very let down by James Gunn specifically because he did the marketing thing that I didn't think he'd ever do, which is just overhype things. So yeah, even like the conclusion, like how it ended, the final big thing was so fast, like Flash, get it so fast, but so fast that
I didn't even get that. It went right over my head.
Yeah, it was the last like sequence of like the big reveal thing was like so quick that like you don't even have time to like
Process.
enjoy the conclusion of what it is.
Yeah, it's
then they also do a good job explaining where Ezra Miller is at, like where his Flash is at, and why he's not part of the DCU anymore. So they did some good cleanup. Like the cleanup work is good. I will give them that. In terms of like resetting what they need to reset and putting things in place. I'm pretty sure Momoa is going to be Aquaman going forward now, like even with the DCU. So they did a good job cleaning things up. But there's it's just the movie's just meh. Like your typical comic book film, like nothing special. It's not terrible. It's not great.
It felt like it was kind of like the Ant-Man of the DCU.
About that, I feel where Ant-Man's at. That's what I was about to say. The same thing.
That's kind of where it's at. And the reason why I got blown up with like such like hype is because there's movie references to famous directors and actors in this movie. And that's why Tom Cruise went on I got to see it early. It was amazing because there's a lot of Top Gun references. Steven Spielberg going crazy is because there's a lot of Steven Spielberg movie references in this movie. So that's why those dudes blew up the movie to make it like, oh, it's going to be the best. It is the best. It's because of they refer to them a lot in the movie. But it was good. It was all right.
Like, give me a number, one through 10.
Me and Matthew talked about it on the way out.
Yeah.
If you just showed me, hey, Flash is coming out with the movie, no backstory, no nothing, just Flash movie, I give it probably a 6. If I just went in there and watched it.
Mhm.
If you were telling me it's going to clean up the DCU, it's going to do all these things, I'd probably give it maybe a 4.5.
Yeah.
You
So
coulda
I would
came out
give
with
it
a YouTube video and
as a
cleaned it up.
standalone film. I'll give it a 7. As a Flash cleans things up, 5.5 to 6.
Mm.
But for me, middle of the pack. Nothing special.
Yeah.
But I'm being very clear here. Supergirl alone takes it up
Yes.
one level for me. So if it wasn't for her, it'd be a 6 and a 4.5.
So if they pulled Supergirl out of this movie, right, and it started with the Flash just saving her from where the situation she is, and then it went from there, it didn't have the same conclusion, but just started the story from there, and they gave me a Supergirl movie,
I've been ecstatic.
I would have been ecstatic. I would have probably been already the second time watching it.
Mm.
Her character looks, and when you get the little bit of backstory on who she is, you just fall in love with her even more because you just see this rage in this. You want to know more, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah. And they did a great job not making her more powerful than Superman.
Yes.
But making her uniquely powerful in her own aspect of you're just a notch below Clark, like just a tad. But that one tad, it cost a lot in this film for her. So they did a good job at that. My fear coming in this, when I was talking to Steven about it, was I didn't want her to be Superman or be more powerful than him. And they like that fine balance of where Kara should be. She either fits in there perfectly. So
and dude, with like 1 or 2 lines, they give her whole arc of everything. It's so crazy because they made her story like, oh, this is interesting. And then when the bad guy says, I don't want to ruin it. When there's like 2 lines he says, you just go,
yeah, makes sense.
I get it. Let's go. And you get fired up for her, and you just
Whatever writer wrote Kara's character in this film needs to take a film like with just write a film for Kara and do it with DC. Specifically with this is the thing now that they've made a terrible mistake on. She did so good that I see no one else being Kara. So they've made a grave mistake in my opinion of like if you recast this, I'm already 1 foot out the door for this film.
Yeah, man.
Not my Supergirl.
And they say that she did a really good job, just like the comic book. I guess they came out kind of her arc in the comic book. It has the same kind of passion. They said that she nailed it. She nailed it very well. I have no idea why my stuff reset. They nailed it very well. The only thing is that I felt like I got robbed of screen time. I wanted to see more of her. If they come out with like an extended edition, I would definitely not buy it, but I would want to watch it to see more of her.
Have you seen Dune, Andrew?
Dune?
The new Dune?
Yeah, of course.
You know how Zendaya has like 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, less time than Zendaya had in that film. That's what she has in this film. But it's the greatest 7 minutes of the entire film.
So do they follow kind of like the Flashpoint arc where it's
very, very loosely?
Okay.
Like they followed Barry's motive as to why he went back. Everything else, no.
Okay.
Yeah, they they just ran that.
Yeah, the only thing they also followed is where Supergirl was.
Yeah, so she's
and like
government facility.
Right. But not in the US. Yeah. Other than those 2 things, nothing's the same. Nothing.
Could you imagine if they had like a CGI tiny Henry Cavill Superman? Oh man, that would have been crazy.
Oh, that's my other complaint about this film.
Oh damn, dude.
CGI is when Barry's running specifically, it looks like it was AI generated CGI.
Probably
it's
was.
Pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And then the director came out and like said like it was intentional, all this stuff, and I was like, shut up. It was not intentional.
So after hearing him give his like how he's like, oh, it's intentional. When he's in the little dome thing, we'll give him that. We'll say because he's running fast and it's a memory that it's a little Sure, we'll give it to him.
That one specifically.
The baby
babies,
scene.
dude. The
Dog,
babies,
I cannot get
man.
over the babies. They look like little munchkin monsters. I don't get it. It was dog shit. There's a couple fight scenes where it was just like the fight was cool, but it just looked like, dude, the dude who did Luke Skywalker when he redid it for them would have done a way better job than this. Like
the CGI was not good.
Terrible.
Not
it looks
good.
like they wasted all their money on everything else, and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna have to outside source this." You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had to pay Keaton. They had to pay Nick Cage. They had to pay. They had to pay CGI Christopher Reeves.
So I found out why he's fighting a big spider. So he's fighting a big spider, Nicolas Cage in the movie. When they show him. Yeah. So when he's running, he sees different worlds, and each world has a different version of Superman or different version of Batman, right? That's why you have the Adam West Batman. That's why you have the Christopher Reeve Superman, and the different Supermans.
Andrew, you've read Crisis on Infinite Earths, right?
Yeah. So when you see Nick, I don't know why I'm even talking about this. And he's fighting a Spider-Man. He's not even flying. He's like on the ground fighting a spider, a huge monster spider. It's because the guy from Jay and Silent Bob. What's his name? The Kevin. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When he was going to be writing the Tim Burton Superman movie with Nicolas Cage, the guy who was running the Superman IP, I guess, told him there's three things. He can't wear a suit, the Superman suit. I don't want him wearing the Superman suit in the movie. I don't want him flying, and he has to fight a giant spider. And everybody was like, this is a terrible idea for a Superman movie. So it was a joke on that. And that's what killed the movie, because everybody's like, how do you write it's Superman. He can't fly and he can't wear the Superman suit. And that's why they dropped the movie. Yeah. So that's why they put him in the suit. He's standing and he's fighting a giant spider. It was a joke on.
That's one joke. The second joke they had was when they did a callback to Keaton's old Superman suit where it was one piece, so he couldn't move his neck. So you gotta do this.
Yes, that was hilarious.
There was spoilers, very minor spoilers, but there's a running joke back in the Batman days where Keaton, he had to turn his entire body because his neck, his mask, and his shoulder plates were one piece, so he couldn't turn his neck. Well, in this film, Barry number 2, little Barry, he saws together a Batman suit and creates his Flash suit out of it, but he uses that cowl where it's one piece. So there's this scene where other Barry's talking to him, and he turns just his neck, and the mask is on.
They're in the back of the Batplane or whatever it's called, and he's just like, it's hilarious, dude. Those little subtle scenes were funny, but it just didn't carry enough in the movie to be this is good. It was just that's the best part with those little one-liners.
That's the thing. It's I could see how people think it's a good movie. I could see either way. People can think it's the best movie or think it's the worst movie. I fall right in the middle, but I could see points of emphasis where you can go either way and argue the point of what you're trying to make. If someone said it's 8 out of 10 movie and they argued the points I just made to you, the comedy was good, the action sequences were really good, Tashikaye, that kind of thing, I would be okay, maybe you're right. But then if someone came and said this is a 2 out of 10, and they said, bad CGI, plot wasn't very strong, that kind of thing, I'd be like, you got a point. So
yeah, I get it.
All right, keeping it pushing. Off comic books. Actually, no, we'll stay within the MCU realm. So real quick, we're not in the business of he said, she said. We're not in the business of taking a side on this. It's just the facts. Facts are Jonathan Majors' lawyer has come out, provided some evidence, and the big thing for me is witness testimonies of pretty much clearing Majors of what he was claimed to have done, what Majors and his lawyer claiming his racism arrest charges were made. Whether that's true or not, I have no clue. But basically what's happening is the lawyers think they have enough there evidence-wise that the DA will just drop the case altogether. Gentlemen, a couple things. One, the reaction you have just to that news. And two, where does this leave the MCU with Majors and Kang?
Go for it, Andrew. I did a lot of talking right now. You can knock this one
out. All right, let's talk about my personal feelings. Again, not condoning what may or may not have happened. As it stands, you never want something like that to happen.
Yeah.
But I can't. I want him back. He was so talented that it's like it's hard not to be rooting for this to be like, okay, this is just something else. Like as
Yeah.
much as I want him back, like I think he's got so much passion for that role. I don't think there's a great way that they could recast it just because of how good he is. With that being said, it would be a very risky deal for Disney to uncancel, if that's the term we're going to use, uncancel him. But I've been reading some articles where Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, has been kind of issuing some formal apologies for that one girl in, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. But she was in The Mandalorian, and then she got canceled, and she was dropped.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking. The girl plays Cara Dune.
Yeah, Cara Dune character.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not in the realm of impossible, but I want it to happen so bad because he is so good. Like,
yeah, he
just
is.
in everything he's been in, I've just been like, dang, this guy's solid. I'm excited to see him in Loki. Like, as an actor, I am behind him 150%. As a human being, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Steven, you're up on the chopping block. Give us.
So
your
I am going to
opinion on
say, my opinion on this is, I do believe in the justice system. So it goes to the courts; they can decide what's going on. I am also a big person of freedom of speech, and Majors should definitely come out if he's innocent. Say he's innocent. If that girl definitely got assaulted, she should come out saying she's assaulted, and we need to figure out get to the bottom of it. The truth will come out. The only thing I'm really upset with is I'm upset a little bit with Disney. Disney not waiting for the court to come out and be like, yo, our guy's innocent. I understand it's a business and it's your image, but at the same time, look what's going to happen now. They took a stance against Majors, didn't wait for the evidence to come out, and now this could royally screw the MCU up. I know they can go and get another actor, but the fans are going to get upset. You know what I mean? Those diehards are going to be like, hey, man, that was our guy, and he didn't do nothing wrong, and you fired him. I think Disney needs to take a step back and either put out an apology, or next time something like this happens, they need to come out and give that mutual stance and mean like, hey, we want the truth to come out, but before we do anything, courts need to do their thing. We need to find out, because you're innocent till proven guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't do that as a movie business. You're waiting. It's too much time to wait for someone to be proven innocent or guilty. Then if they're guilty, that's another like year of casting.
Double down to Don. Yeah.
So I think I agree with you though. Like businesses shouldn't he shouldn't just get canned and fired. I think in this case, which Disney is doing properly compared to like the Johnny Depp situation, in this case they're saying, hey, we're going to recast, but it's you're on standby. Like it's not like we're gonna like put you in right away, because one, everything we need right now, content wise, Majors is already shot and filmed. Right, Loki season 2, whatever cameos casted for the next 2-3 films is there, set in stone. They're really looking for King Dynasty and Secret Wars. So I think what Disney's doing, which they haven't made a statement at all either way. What they haven't done either is fired him, but they have said, hey, we just need to find someone. Just in case we need to get him going. But I agree they should not fire him or do anything like that until he is found guilty or innocent or whatever.
He's just so good. Like, come on.
And say they're putting it on hold or something, man, because
I think they say they put it on hold. It messes with a whole bunch of things. It's hard.
I guess.
I think them doing nothing and them doing like how they're doing it now was the best option. there's two ways it could have gone. One, you would just fire him, and Johnny Depp happens all over again to the same company it just happened to. Or two, you come out and say we're going to keep him, and then it ends up being true, and now you're like in a really bad PR stunt.
True.
The thing with Disney right now, or Marvel specifically, Marvel section of Disney, is they have two of these cases going on, which is Tanakh Huerta, who's Namor, has similar charges, a little bit worse from what I hear. And for him, they're just staying quiet altogether. So I think as these things are happening to Disney people, they're starting to get more and more trained of like, okay, let's just say nothing. Let's let it play out. And then if we need to recast, we'll have someone on standby just in case. But I hope he's innocent. I mean, hope is like a selfish word for it because I want him to play Kang again. I also hope that if he is guilty, he gets what's coming to him. So
Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think we all kind of feel the same way about that. If he's not guilty, he's a damn good Kang. Please keep him.
Definitely.
If he is, put him where he belongs. Cool. So let me see which way I want to go with this. I think I want to talk really, really, really briefly because not a lot of news going out about this. Is the Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk battle. So, gentlemen, let me fill you in quick on what happened on Twitter this week a little bit. So there was photos of Mark Zuckerberg juicing up. He's training with like an MMA fighter. Like he looks like he's like ready to throw some blows. So it sparked the entire, is Mark Zuckerberg the biggest like social media CEO? Considering he owns Instagram, that leaves one other social media company, which is Twitter. So Elon Musk has come out and said, you know what? I will throw blows with Zuckerberg anytime he wants to go. He said this on Twitter. Zuckerberg has then responded and said, name the time and place. Elon Musk then responded and said, Vegas, Octagon.
Ooh.
Okay, so that happened. Okay, but then this is where it gets interesting. Dana White today, like hours before this podcast started, before I even mentioned this to you guys, Dana White has come out and said that both parties have been contacted by Dana White, and both parties are very serious about this fight happening, and that it's going to be $100 pay-per-view, be the biggest fight in history, that kind of stuff. So, gentlemen, do we want to see a Zuckerberg-Musk fight in the Octagon specifically? Who do you think would win? And how does this affect whatever social media platform they represent, if at all? Andrew, starting with you.
Yes. We need to see it. As far as it affects anything, I think it's nothing but good for all platforms. Like there's something that is so fun about drama, and like this drama isn't like anything too heavy. Like it's playful banter. It's two guys kind of puffing each other's chests at them, both financially, physically. Like it's fun. I'm all for it. Personally, let's see. I don't know how much training the Musk has done, but if I was just to say like,
before you answer, someone did offer to train him an hour before we started this podcast, and he guarantees a win. It's one Mr. Andrew Tate has come out and said that he will personally train Elon Musk to fight.
How? I thought he's got some court stuff to take care of.
Musk flies to him.
Anyway, what I was going to say before you even said that snippet is I probably would put my vote on Musk. I look at Zuckerberg and I just think he's just kind of like a little pencil. Like,
see, you haven't seen him this week apparently. Like I saw the photos. That man is yoked. He's ready for a fight, I think.
So if I had to put my money on it, I'm putting all of my money on Mark Zuckerberg.
The
Zuck has already placed. He's won gold medal in white belt. I know it's white belt, but he won gold in his first tournament. Then in it's like a certain level, but they go catch weight, so it's like white belts, but open to any weight class. He took silver. He's also being trained by
how high is silver for the record?
So the silver usually that means he probably had to be out, depending on that tournament. You're looking at like lightweight, heavyweights, flyweights, and like banter weights all those are different weight classes in white belt. So think about it. He was probably in light heavyweight, and he beat some people. You know what I mean? Like, you can even watch the video here as of May 8th. He got moves. Like, I'm not saying he's the greatest, but he's also being trained by one of the greats, Mikey. He is a guy who's probably 135 pounds, and he runs through half of the UFC easily. And that guy is an animal. Right now, if they fought within the next 6 months, Zuck already has, we'll just say he got 4 months of jiu-jitsu underneath his belt already to feel that comfortable to go into a tournament. He takes Zuckerberg down, or he takes Musk down, and he taps him. I'm telling you, within the first round.
He's gonna give him the Zuck.
Right.
Okay, enough.
Yeah.
That, okay.
Andrew Tate is a badass kickboxer, but it takes years to just get form in kickboxing. You know what I mean? Like, Andrew Tate's not an MMA fighter; he's a kickboxer, and I no way does Musk, unless this is about a year away. There's no way he has enough time to, unless he just bum rushes the guy and it gets a random haymaker on him. But if it goes anywhere to the ground, Zuckerberg taps him.
So, 2 things. Both you gentlemen need to respect King Cobra Tate, okay? He could train me to fight a lion and win 10 out of 10 times. Okay?
There's no way you're winning the lion.
That's the first thing. The second thing that you're overlooking completely is that this man, Musk, has an Iron Man suit in his garage, number one. You know what else that means? It means that super soldier serum is injected into that boy's veins immediately. As soon as the contract is signed, he's going in the backyard and for like 10 days straight. He's going to yoke up. He's going to become Steve Rogers, Steve Musk, if you will, Elon Rogers, and he's going to mop Zuckerberg. Now, that's what I would say if I was writing a comic book. If I'm not writing a comic book, I'm living in the real world here. I would say Zuck probably wins, but I'm taking the under. I'm taking the underdog. I want Musk. If I'm betting the fight, I'm betting the plus 400 for Musk.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm actually like calling the fight, Zuckerberg in a 5-round battle, second, third round maybe. But I know for sure that if this fight happens, Musk is just whatever he has like in the pit, like ready to go, like experimental wise, he's just gonna immediately into his arm.
He's gonna he's gonna inject himself. You're gonna see like
Neuralink's gonna work all of a sudden.
Yeah, dude. Zuckerberg's gonna come out.
And
Zuckerberg's gonna be jacked, dude. Zuckerberg's gonna be coming out, cracking his neck, just yoked, right? And then you're just gonna see Musk, who didn't even train, eating a jumbo jack, and he's gonna super shredder that shit and just and just pump up and just you're like, what the shit? And he's just gonna punch him. He's gonna fly through the ring. You know what I mean?
That Bane serum,
dude. He's
with
just
the
gonna
luchador mask.
All the steroids. You're gonna just see, dude. Especially in Romania, if Tate trains him. Oh yeah. They're just going to be just
the whole time. The whole time.
Dude.
Would we pay $100 to see it?
No, I would pay $100 and then everybody probably just come to my house. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I for sure pitch in.
Wings, I wouldn't pay for it. I'm sure there's ways that you'll be able to stream it.
So
yeah, but you want to support the Zuck?
Oh, Andrew's gonna Zuck him up for sure. So question number 2, gentlemen, about this being the biggest fight of all time. 1, is this bigger than Mayweather-Pacquiao if it happens? I think so. And 2, what could beat this? And when I say that, I'm thinking specifically it's about 2 people. If Logan Paul fought Jake Paul, what would sell higher, that or Musk and Zuckerberg?
The only thing that sells higher is Trump fighting Biden, and then gives Biden a shovel. That's the only thing that I pay $100 to see. You know what I mean? You give,
come on,
it's like
man.
Dude. Come on, man.
You know,
just a shovel. You know what I mean? And then Trump running around like trying to like get around the shovel. With his hair. You know what I mean? That's the only thing you can beat this. The only thing. Yeah,
I think we're in agreement there. Fair enough. All right, gentlemen, we'll leave that one to rest. So moving into What's left? Submarine talk. If you want to get into the submarine, um, so
bad.
first off, before we get into the submarine talk, we're probably gonna have some laughs, probably gonna have some giggles because there's some comedic things surrounding this situation. But our prayers and thoughts with the families affected.
Definitely.
Those people did not deserve to die, no matter who they were, what they did, especially in that way. Their families
Oh, man.
deserve something out of this, and rest in peace to them.
Yeah,
That is our
definitely.
condolences. Okay, what
So
happens
every-
after this is fair game. All right,
So everybody hold your breath on the jokes
Yeah.
that we're gonna say.
yeah. So
Moment of
Did
silence.
you get it?
yeah, we got it. We might just explode with laughter after this. So
Oh, that was deep.
the summer.
That was deep.
Okay,
Oh no.
so let's get into a couple details. Everyone's heard this, but just in case you didn't and you live under a rock or somewhere
Mhm.
of our foreign customers that listen to us, shout out to you guys in Brazil.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So there is a submarine that goes to visit the Titanic. I forgot what it's called. Ocean something.
Ocean Gate.
Ocean Gate. Yep. Oh, gosh, what a name, huh? So there's a company called Ocean Gate, and they send
their
people
business
down.
is exploding. It's the good business to be in right now.
Yeah, it's booming. So they send submarine. They send a Voyager submarine of 5 people. They pay $250,000, which is an insane amount of money, to go in this submarine to go see the Titanic, the actual sunken Titanic in the ocean. So 5 days ago, the people that are above the water, not in the submarine, lost contact with the people in the submarine, the pilot, and then everyone in there. And they had about 96 hours of oxygen and food and stuff. That time expired earlier today, like 5 a.m. or something like that.
Early morning.
Yeah, earlier, something like that. And then today they found debris and rubble of the ship. The ship has been declared as imploded. That's the facts of the thing. A few other facts, or one big fact that I think I'm overlooking that needs to be said is they were controlling this submarine with a Logitech Xbox controller. So there's a lot to dissect here, guys.
So let's start.
There's not a lot to dissect.
I mean, there's nothing left to dissect.
Yeah. Not after the press got
few bits and pieces left. Yeah. So this controller, have you guys seen like the reviews on just like the controller?
Yeah.
It's not even a GameStop. It's one of those like Wildcat controllers with a little paw on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like the gosh, dude.
So it talks about disconnecting and causing death in game or real life.
Yeah. The reviews on Amazon with this controller are probably the highlight of this whole thing. If you go on there, you see like one of them says like "ruin my business." It's a picture of like the owner and CEO of Ocean Gate. So it's like this control lost connection and ruined my entire business. It's like the picture of the CEO just sitting there with the controller in his hand. It's so good. There's not a lot of news to like go around with. It's just like people died, and like I've never seen more comedy revolving deaths ever in my life, especially on Twitter, dude. Especially on, it's insanity.
Yeah,
but it's so funny. It is so funny.
It's not. The situation isn't funny.
No, the situation is not funny.
Yeah.
The memes that are coming out
are hilarious.
Are hilarious.
Yeah.
And like just the fact that they are everywhere.
So did you see there's a meme going around where the CEO is sitting inside the vessel and he throws the controller next to him and they're all, that's when John fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, dude, as soon as you open the package, it's broken. You can hear the little in the controller.
Yeah. It's one of those plastic packages you have to like get the scissors to cut the top off and like pull it open.
The Costco special.
Yeah. Crazy. The other thing that was there's 2 odd things here with me. One, there is fail safes for this thing in the submarine. What happened? And 2, the CEO at one point in time, he had cut communications coming from the submarine up to the top. He had cut it completely. He took like the communication box out of there. So it was just signal based. There was no like actual intercom or anything like that because he kept getting calls to his phone while he was driving. He didn't like that. So instead of like having that be an optional switch off and on, He just like took the whole communication system out.
Remove it.
Yeah, take the whole thing out.
Here's a good idea.
So here's my question for you guys. One, is it even the fault of the company that this thing imploded? I think what happened is it imploded, then lost communication, not like the other way around. I think the reason why it lost communication is because it imploded. So they were like dead. Sorry for like my lack of like heart when I say that. They were dead like right when that communication cut off. They didn't suffer in there, in my opinion. Now, imploding is pretty bad. It's pretty suffering as well.
Mhm.
But they weren't in there for all 5 days.
No.
So that's what did the company do enough to make it secure?
No, they did not.
3, does the company keep doing this? Do they make another submarine and keep it flowing? And do they charge more for it now? What do you do if you're the CEO of this company? This is all you do.
It's time to come out with a new company name. Ocean Gate is
Ocean Gate's pretty bad.
First of all, there's a couple things that we got to talk about. Ocean Gate, horrible name. Like,
definitely a terrible name.
Second, come on, they picked the Titan. Like, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
So I watched that 25-minute documentary kind of thing about this whole thing, and
okay, so I got some.
I got a question.
That's another problem. Why is their documentary already out when there wasn't anything pronounced today?
Fast.
They were asking him questions. And remember how they do like Pimp My Ride? But before they pimp the ride out, they go, all right, so give me a tour of your car. And they go, oh, so my door doesn't open. So I went to Harbor Freight and got some string to close it. While the interview's going on, the guy's like, oh, so where'd you get this stuff from? And he's like, oh, I got this pipe from Ace Hardware.
Oh, my God.
And you're just like, and he goes, oh, and then the submarine's state of the art where we have a toilet in here. And it's like,
it's the best seat in the house.
You know, like, bro, like, gosh, it's the things. He's like, what I wanted to do was be very simple. So just push one button and it does everything for you. And then we have a Xbox controller that is not even name brand. You can buy at Big Lots. And I'm just like, so then they ask him about the plexiglass. This is what his answer was, quote unquote. Okay. They ask him, sir, have you tested the front glass? He goes, it's 7 inches of plexiglass. And they're like, with that pressure going down there, it's going to crack. And he goes, yes, it is going to crack.
Oh.
But if it cracks, it's going to give us an indicator of sound. So that's how we know when to go up. Think about what he's saying. He's saying when we know it's going to crack, that's when we go up. And the guy goes, so the guy interviewing's like dumbfounded. He just like my job is to interview people, and I know that's stupid. You know what I mean? Like the guy just stands there and goes, "You want to give another explanation?" Because
you sure you want this to be aired? You sure?
So then there's a guy who does a reaction to all of he has 43 years in like diving and in submarines and stuff, and he goes, this was doomed from the beginning. None of this got tested underwater. Yeah. They did all the pressure about 20 feet underwater. The average person can dive 20 feet underwater. Yeah. They let everything in and out really fast. You know what I mean? So I think Matthew's right. I think they went down there, that cracked, caused the vacuum in the capsule, and it just, they met Jesus.
So here's my last question. Why couldn't they find this thing, dude? It was 1,600 feet from where it was supposed to be, which is the Titanic. There is a direct path they take. It was on that path. They found the debris 1,600 feet away from the Titanic along that path. What was the problem? Like, why couldn't... I'm sorry, but you know where the Titanic is at. You know the route it's supposed to take. Follow the route.
There's a couple things. So ocean currents change constantly, and that could be something that's affecting. And ocean currents out that far, pretty powerful. So I don't know if most people know this, but I'm a scuba diver.
I didn't ask for logic from you, Mr. I'm a scuba diver, okay?
Yeah,
I don't want your logic.
Scuba diving in a pool.
Yeah, I want conspiracies. I don't want your sir, the current of the current climate.
I'm just
when
saying,
the wind is this thick, I'm going towards the east.
I'm just saying.
Give me a hot take, Andrew. Give me a clip.
There's really
Yeah,
not
tell us.
one. I just think it moved around, and it's hard. That's a lot of area for a very small submersible, and it just would take time, and it's constantly moving.
You know
It's
what?
not just
That
it's not
same
just
quote can be said about
moving.
your pants. Okay, a lot of area for something a little small. Anyways,
Got him,
so
Coach.
we're gonna move on. Since Andrew wants to give us correct answers here.
Yeah, it's all right.
So
I do think it's weird though that documentary hit really fast. Like,
yeah, they announced it 2
like-
days ago before it even. Yeah, okay, yeah, craziness.
that's
but
pretty weird.
yeah, let's move on.
So can I
Time
give
constraints.
so I know time constraints. I just want to tip my hat, and I just want to give credit to where credit's due. It took how many people were in that submarine?
5.
5.
And some of them were billionaires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had to be for that kind of payment.
I just want to tip my hat to the cartel who built their own submarine and went underwater from Cancun all the way to Miami to smuggle drugs into the United States.
It's different.
That is a
You see,
very far thing.
Where's my glass?
Andrew.
Where's my
Andrew,
glass?
listen to me.
And
Listen
I
to me,
want to
Andrew.
give a hand clap to those Mexicans who did that.
Can't use that clip now. I was gonna say, listen, Andrew. That's how you give a hot take clip. When I say, give me a clip. All right. Anyways, keeping it pushing. Andrew's fine, so he doesn't have a clip. Andrew, you are our expert topic today, my good sir. So I really hope you don't take this time to talk about scuba diving or this submarine situation,
my
because that would really just suck the air out of this. Get it? Suck the air out of this.
Yeah.
So Andrew, you are up. Give us your topic. Tell us why you're so passionate about it. And yeah.
So this expert segment, I wanted to talk together, converse, not so much me giving the lowdown on it, which I know that's usually what the expert topic is. Ultimately, I'm going to give my opinion, which is probably going to be right. But the topic is around video games because I happen to be an expert in video games. And what I want to know from you guys, not an expert, I hate you. The first game that comes to your mind that you would say is the hardest game you've ever played. I have a guess that Matt's first thought.
Yeah, you should know mine.
But just think about it like all previous consoles, just something that's like the hardest game. And you guys you got it?
Yeah.
My guess is you're going to say Cuphead.
Mine's Cuphead.
Yeah. Cuphead.
Without a doubt,
I saw that one coming. Do you have an idea of what mine is? I know you've watched me play this game.
Yeah, you have a hard time playing like Minecraft and little kitty games.
I mean, I'm not very good at Minecraft. That is true, but
yeah, it's like you're really bad at like Tetris as well. So perhaps that.
I'm not bad at Tetris.
I beat you in chess and checkers. So maybe digital chess and checkers. I know Minesweep is difficult for you.
No, I like Minesweep too.
I don't know yours. No, I don't know it. In all seriousness,
mine by far the hardest game.
League.
No, it's not Rocket League. It is a little game that involves cars, airplanes, and hovercrafts, though.
Flight Simulator?
Nope. We're talking about Nintendo 64.
Oh,
Diddy Kong
Racing. Yeah.
That is the hardest game, most frustrating. I'm pretty sure we have spent time where you watched me play one level for like a solid 45 minutes trying to beat the Whiz-Pig. Like so hard, so frustrating. Steven, what is yours?
Well, mine is actually a game that gets put on the list almost every year for the hardest and worst game ever. When I was little, my dad had a Game Boy.
Worse.
Yeah, it's bad game. It is Terminator 2 for the Game Boy and Game Boy Color. It is so bad that most people who have this game cannot get past the first level because there is no instruction and there is no anything on this game. And I'm going to show you what this game looks like. This here is.
I used to beat that game all the time.
You did not beat this game. This game right here, I have never got past this first level right here. I even went to my dad, and my dad goes, "Okay, I got to the end of the level." Well, what they don't tell you is you have to beat every single bot on the map. And what you
tell us now, we know.
when you kill them, well, that's the thing is some bots die once, some bots die 5 times. Like
because you're totally gonna play it.
Yeah, right. It is the worst game of all time. It just no instruction. I think I threw that game in the backyard someplace just because I was tired of it. And that's the worst and the hardest game I've ever played.
So that's the first part of the question. The second part is I feel like older games were like way more relentless, and obviously like 64 pretty relentless. We're talking Game Boy. So do you think that the gaming industry has kind of lowered its difficulty to entice more people to continuously play?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think they did that because of storyline.
I don't think for the reason you said, but yes, I do think it's easier.
Okay, so what's the reason?
The age range of gamers is significantly lower now than it was back in the day. For specific types of games that we're referring to. I think FPS games specifically is what I'm talking about. Is the skill gap is significantly lowered because there's little kids playing now versus back in the day.
Yeah,
those little kids were playing SpongeBob. There's just not enough little kid games separate from adult games. So I think what happens is, just naturally speaking, they want to have everybody included in their games. So I just think the age range of gamers, actual gamers that want to play actual games, is lower nowadays. So therefore, they have to kind of adjust it. If that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I think it makes more sense than what my logic was. I thought they did it because of because nowadays single player story games are like a story, you know what I mean? And it would suck if you bought a game, got to like the 3rd level, and it was so hard that you just were like, dude, F this.
Yeah, that's true too.
And then if you got halfway, and then you finally beat it a month later, and you're like, I don't even remember the story. You know what I mean? And then you're just like, I don't even care. You know, that's what I would think. But I think Matthew's point is a little more valid than mine is, because I think the age range, like my kid's playing games now and he's 8 years old. I don't think I played until like maybe 10, 11. I still couldn't beat a Game Boy Advance game. You know what I mean? So
I think on top of that too is also a ton more options for games. That if you make a game too difficult, like Cuphead, was great up until I couldn't get past a level, and I was like, I'm not playing this. I can play a million other games because I have it to my disposal now. Like Cuphead would have been a game I would have loved to like push through, but in my head I'm thinking I don't have to do this. I can play something else because I have that freedom now versus before. You had one console, you had maybe one game every 2 or 3 months that your mom and dad would get you. So you're grinding that game until you can't anymore, pretty much.
So then my final question is, so for me, like playing that game, repeat, losing, like having to restart, like knowing I missed the boost, I got to start out, it's not happening, and then you finally beat it, and I feel so accomplished. Do you think that games that purposefully came out like a Cuphead has a audience where there'd be people who feel that excitement of finally being able to beat the game if it took them 10,000 tries? Or
I think
kind of like that's we'd rather get the story, not the accomplishment of actually doing it.
I remember the first time playing Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo, that kind of happened to me. I was trying to get Smoke, and you have to beat, you know how there was tiers, and there was like, you beat 5 people and you win it. And then there was like, oh, go to difficult, the next difficult, you have to fight 12 people or whatever. I wanted to get Smoke so bad when I was a little kid that I would just mash out all the easy guys and get to it and then lose. Do it again. And then finally I got it. Dude, I remember calling my cousin who lived like across town and was like, I finally did it. I went on a body high for like 2 days, dude. I thought I could take over the world. It was amazing. I don't get that same kind of feeling now when I play games, because usually it's like not that hard, but now they have things called like achievements, where the achievements like beat the level in 20 seconds or less. You know what I mean? So it's still a difficult thing to do, but now there's another challenge to it where,
like I can remember there's been like a few times where it's something that I was doing, and I remember like that nerve or like getting shaky because I'm like, all right, if I don't get it, like I got to start all over. And I just feel like I haven't had that in a long time. I don't know if that's like me getting numb or my senses being dulled to games because I play a lot of them. But it's like I almost want it. Like give me something that's challenging. That's like not necessarily for the story. Yeah, yeah. But it's like it's interesting that the gaming just community in general has kind of moved away from that. Oh, we're gonna give you something really tough that's gonna like get your nerves going. Like even I think like times where I was playing Call of Duty Zombies and you finally make it to like a boss fight and it's like ridiculously hard even though you got there and you get like that shake like okay I'm gonna finally beat it and then you don't, then you start all over. It takes forever to get set up and everything. Like just seems like that's kind of being phased out in the video game world and everyone's choosing like a more story oriented.
I like that personally. Yeah, so I think so I think it goes a couple ways. One, the games that come out nowadays are mostly original, right? They're not like based off of movies or TV shows. So the story emphasis is apparent because there's no backstory. I think back to a game that I played on PS2, I think. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. That's one of those games like
that was a good
yeah,
one.
That's one of those games where I just like played it with like me and Joey, my brother, co-op mode because that's just the best way to play it, by the way. But we would just play it, and I didn't care about the cutscenes or anything like that because I already knew what the story was. I think they phased away from that aspect of movie games. It's kind of the reverse now. Games turn into movies versus the other way around. So I think that has a lot to do with the story aspect of it. I like the story format personally. That's the reason why I love Jedi, like Fallen Order. But I'm not one of the ones that are like, unless it's like a multiplayer game where like I'm playing against somebody, I don't care to grind to beat it.
Right.
I think you guys both know that already. But if it's a multiplayer game where I can get better than somebody else in real life, then I'm all for it. But like Cuphead, I had like one level where I was like, this, I'm just done. I don't even have the mental capacity to deal with this anymore, and just like dipped out to something else. So, I think it's being phased out. I don't think it has to do with like consumerism. I think the consumers would take whatever they're given. I just think that the devs have a more artistic view than back then, and they care too much for their baby
to make it too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that was basically my expert topic. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. For me, I'm very almost to the opposite of you, Matt. Like I like the story; it's important to me, but I want the challenge too. But
man, I think you're gonna pick up it for like a week, and then
I'll get my fix from it.
You'll get your fix for it from the first world. Cuphead is, but the thing about Cuphead is it's beautiful. Like it's a beautiful game. It's really well done.
I never played it.
Those boss fights are just, yeah. I'll send you guys a clip in Discord about like a boss fight, and although super satisfying, like when I see somebody do it, I just know that I just know it took him like 3 weeks to fight this one boss and finally beat him. Cool. So pushing it on to the game master of the week, Mr. Khan AZ up there, Mr. Steven. Give us your game. Tell me why I'm gonna win it, and let's go from there.
All right, so this game is kind of weak because I totally forgot that it was my week for gaming. So this is going to be as weak as Andrew's pullout game, and this is going to be.
Lord, the strays Andrew's taking today is crazy.
I thought I was muted. Hey, Andrew, I'm so sorry. I thought I was muted. I would never say that in front of you. This is going to be. This is going to be a quick. It's going to be a trivia game, and it's going to be either movie or video game. They're going to be random trivia questions, and then at the end of it, whoever wins wins. We have 6. So yeah, 6 of them. So in total, it's going to be 12 because it's 6 categories. Okay. Whoever goes first and wins gets to go if they want to pick the game or movie. So because we've been all over Andrew today, let's go with Andrew. Do you want the game or the movie in this first one?
Let's do movie.
In the Matrix, what pill color does Neo take?
So you have the red and blue.
Red and blue, huh?
Yeah, it's red and blue. The red
Okay.
pill, blue pill.
Okay.
Is that not?
What?
Is that not right? I feel like that's right.
Hey, if you think so, go ahead.
Go for it, man.
After you answer the question, I just want to know when's the last time you seen The Matrix.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Continue on though.
So what you got?
Go with your gut. That's what your gut says.
My
And don't say it in
is
chat. If
gonna
anybody's
say-
listening and watching, don't say it in
my
chat.
gut's gonna say red.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
The answer is red. 1 point
Yeah,
for
That's the
Andrew.
right answer. I knew it immediately. I just
And is it red and blue? Because you like
Yeah,
threw me
it's-
off.
it's
Okay.
Yeah,
red and
it's
blue.
red and blue.
Like I was seeing it, and I'm like, am I colorblind?
So some of these questions are very easy. In the kind of the game of it is you're picking the category whoever's winning. So you could pick the easy one or the harder one.
So I'm about to have a crazy in MLB the show 09. Who was the leading RBI hitter after season 3?
That was the first round, and that one was kind of easy, but this one's a lot easier. If you get this wrong, Matt, I will delete you from everything that I have you on.
Get it wrong so you don't have to talk to him anymore.
In 2001, a GameCube game came out starring Mario's brother. They did a reboot for the Nintendo Switch in 2019.
Luigi's Mansion.
Who is this person?
Luigi.
Mansion.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion. Perfect. So it was a tie, and Matthew got it. So we will go on to the next one. Matthew, do you want to go movie or do you want to go a game?
Let me take the movie route.
The movie route.
Wait,
this one's
why
hard.
is it his turn again?
Because you just went first.
You went first.
Oh, okay. So we're doing snake.
Yeah. Well, we get whoever gets it right picks, but in that situation we both got it right, so we did a snake.
Yeah, we just did the snake. All right. This one's the hard one. This one's actually, both of them are pretty hard. In what year? I will give you one. No. In what year were these 3 blockbuster movies dropped? What year was it? The Mask, Dumber and Dumber, or Ace Ventura?
Gosh.
What year?
What year?
That
Were
they released?
dropped, like they released.
Released. Yep. 2002. I know that's correct, by the way.
Andrew's face is like,
No.
all right. Is that your final answer?
It's my final answer, I
It's way
believe.
too late.
All right.
It's too late,
so,
you think?
Yeah.
Could be.
Wait, too late?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
late as
2002,
in-
though.
As
No,
in,
not even close.
No? Oh.
Dumber and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and The Mask
95.
came out in 1994.
Yeah. I was
Yes.
gonna say the 90s.
I was born 97, guys.
This is the easy one, Andrew. I hope you know this one. The popular game company Atari put their first arcade console in what establishment?
So I'm looking for an establishment,
Yes.
like a specific establishment, or like
Yes.
No, like not the name, right? Like a restaurant, like that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
a specific restaurant.
I can't say yes or no, but yes.
Because my first
so
initial thing was like a
want-
fast food restaurant. Like
You want the name of the restaurant
Yeah.
or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
The name of the restaurant.
Okay, McDonald's.
No. It was Chuck E. Cheese was the first restaurant. All right.
What would you have said, Matt?
Me?
Yeah.
I would have said like a pizza place. I don't know why I thought.
Yeah.
I think for some reason I think arcade. I think pizza places or movie theaters.
That's
So,
kind of.
I was thinking like a fast food place with like one of those stand up arcades where you're waiting for your food and you just play an arcade.
All right. So both of you guys got that wrong. Since
Chuck E.
Andrew
Cheese.
went last, we will go. You want a game or movie?
Movie.
Movie. Okay, what popular Disney character makes an appearance as a stuffed animal in the movie Frozen? It's very brief. Do you know this, Matt?
I hate.
I know the one in Up. I don't know the one in Frozen.
I know the Monsters Inc.
Frozen.
one's off the top of my head, but I can.
Frozen.
Yeah, I know Monsters Inc. too.
Can I give him a hint?
No.
No.
No. I don't want no hint.
Okay.
take your hint and give it to Matt.
No, don't. I don't want the hint.
Frozen. So it's gotta be.
Yeah, Frozen. So let's speed it up here,
Oh,
chubbies.
we got time. There's no reason to rush.
No Russian.
No rushing.
Ooh, good level.
I'm gonna say Pascal.
Wrong.
The answer is Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I was gonna say Mike was asking. That was the one that was like sticking, but I was like, Frozen's not Pixar. That's Disney.
Okay, so I don't know if Matt's gonna get this one, but this is gonna be video game. Airman, Cutman, Ringman, and Drillman are all the villains in what MM video game franchise?
MM.
Yes.
What does MM mean?
Can't tell you. You know this?
I've never seen. I don't know. I don't know. Stop
I'm telling you the answer.
I know.
I
I know. I just don't know how confident because I haven't seen or played. I don't know what she said still, but
Yeah,
MM.
what's your guess?
Is
MM.
Is that part of the name? Like, is that
Yes.
like the first letter of the name of the thing?
Yeah. So if I was writing my name and it was Stephen Curry, it'd be SC.
SC, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mad Max?
That's pretty good, but no.
No.
Chat, does anybody know what Airman, Cutman, Ringman, and Drillman are villains of what MM video game franchise?
MM.
Come on, Matthew.
MM is the franchise?
Yes, it's the abbreviations of the franchise.
I don't know. That's my guess is Mad Max.
The answer is Mega Man.
Mega
Man.
Mega Man.
All right, next category. Our next person is Matthew, since you guys nobody got that.
Yeah.
Do you want movie or video
Give
game?
me the video game.
Video game. Sun, Moon, Diamond, Pearl, Soul, Silver
Pokemon.
are all names of Pokemon. Yes, another one from Matthew.
All right, that was the easy one. See, that's
that was actually the harder one in that one.
That was
this one.
What?
Andrew, who played the Green Goblin in the 2002 box office smash Spider-Man?
Who is Willem Dafoe?
Yes, sir.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Man. All right. So it's 2-2.
Spider-Man, come out to play.
All right. Andrew, since you scored last, it's 2-2.
Give me a video game.
Video game. This one might be a pretty hard one for Andrew. Okay. In Super Mario Kart, the first game in Nintendo Racing franchise, which of the playable characters has the shortest name? In the first Super Mario. Mario Kart. In the first
Mario
one.
Kart. So we're talking SNES. Shortest name. Toad.
Toad is correct.
Let's go.
I was trying to throw him off by saying the first one.
Go.
It doesn't matter because I heard Michelle say. All right. This is the hard question.
Great.
That's right. You like that hard question.
Oh, yeah. Andrew got that right. Let me change this to a 3.
Yeah.
How many moons does Luke Skywalker's home planet on Tatooine have?
Moons.
Come on, Matt. It's like so many Star Wars movies.
Do you 3 or 2?
Which one is it?
I think it's 2. It's got to be 2.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
The answer is 2.
47.
The answer is 2. So
Binary
3-3, boys.
sunset.
All right.
That's a sunset for Luke, one for Anakin, but where's Rey's? She's also a Skywalker.
She's a Palpatine, but it's all good. All right. So Matt, do you want the movie or the video game?
Movie.
Movie. All right. The head of what animal is found in the bed of the notorious movie
Horse.
Godfather? A horse.
Hey, listen,
right.
listen. Hey, when I know him, I know him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yes, you
sometimes
do.
I don't know him.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew, here you go, baby. This is for all the marbles, or actually for a tie. In Mario Kart, you got another Mario Kart one.
Oh, goodness
Go.
gracious.
The power up that seeks out a player in the first position explodes on impact.
Blue
What
shell.
color is? What'd you say?
Blue shell.
The blue shell. That is correct. So that is a 3-3.
Kamikaze.
Come on, we can't end on a tie.
Oh, we're not ending on the tie. I got some right here. Okay, let's
Just speed round it.
Speed round it. We're gonna go. I'm gonna throw a game out, and first person who gets it wins. Let's go. Here we go.
This is how confident I am. Not even listening.
All right, this is a good one. In 1996, this video game kicked off a long-running film and game franchise and elevated the horror genre of
What is
video
Resident
games.
Evil?
What is Resident Evil? Gosh, how did you know that?
There needs to be a rule in place that if you weren't born in these years, it shouldn't qualify.
Get born, kid. Get born.
Get older, son. Get older. So as of today, Andrew is our winner.
Can we change that tag?
No. So that'll be
Look at
it
that.
for our show today, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at
Fun-filled show. Glad to be back. It was last 2 or 3 weeks were odd for us. There was a lot going on for not just one of us, but all three of us, but especially one of us. So cool. Everyone, thanks for watching. Watch, comment, subscribe, download on your SS feed, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. That's where we're at. Find us, love us. Gentlemen, you guys might not know this, but I'm going to be doing another show here very soon on TikTok and YouTube. So once I get that up, I'm going to shout it out here as well. It's not going to take away from this at all whatsoever, but I'm going to do some more Call of Duty focused stuff. So when that comes out, let everybody know. Any other shameless plugs anyone has?
So I'm also doing another podcast called Run the Pockets, where we rant and complain about things that we purchase and spend our money on. We're going to try to have some of these guys in the podcast just to get some different outlooks on things that we pay for that we shouldn't be buying if we don't stand for it. But yeah, that's all I got. You can find me at Con Artist on Twitch or ConXAZ, and then you can find us at Run the Pockets. But that's all I got. What about you?
Any shameless plugs? Maybe donations for your receding hairline? Nothing?
If you want to buy me some, what's that
Rogaine?
popular one?
Some Rogaine?
Rogaine. What's the other one?
Propecia?
Hymns? Give me some hymns.
Some hymns?
I need some hymns.
Ooh.
Not just the Rogaine.
And you need some Blue Chew. Andrew is the
All right.
No.
Well, this podcast is off the rails today. Gentlemen, fun to be
We're
back as
back.
always. We'll be back next week as well for another video/podcast. Everybody have a fantastic night. Everybody have a great day wherever you're at. Thanks for listening and watching. Adios.
peace and love.